The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. One of the best games Bethesda's put out and one of my favourite RPGs. A game where you could build any type of character and roam freely across a living, breathing world. Sometimes you need to find out where to go. Or where to go to get Dragon's Tongue because you got kicked out of the Mages Guild again for trying to pick up a fucking book off the ground. Thanks, Janine. So you look it up on the wiki when you see this at the bottom of the page. And you may think, I wonder what they fixed. And then you see this. And then you notice it's only page 1. And then you realise your Xbox is on fire because it's trying to run Oblivion. Look, we all know glitches in video games. Some minor, and some really fucking bad, dude. But one game seems to reign supreme when it comes to infamy with game glitches. Sonic 06.
Whoa!
No, of course it's Oblivion. Which, to be honest, I never thought was that broken.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, okay. Everybody knows how janky this game can be. So much so that it's become a meme. But usually these glitches are small. And I've seen much worse in other games over the years. Usually made by Bethesda. But clearly there's a little bit more wrong with this game than I originally thought. And we're gonna find out. Now, I'm gonna follow the wiki on how to recreate these glitches and see how easy it is to make the game confused, unplayable, or in some cases just crash altogether. And I'm going to be using both ends of the spectrum here. On one console I have Oblivion all up to date with the Shivering Isles expansion installed, which also added a couple of fixes itself to the game. And on the other console I have a non-updated vanilla version of Oblivion. Like gaming in 2006 without an internet connection. Most of the glitches I'm checking out have been fixed by the unofficial Oblivion patch. Not that that really matters, because I'm using console anyways. But a couple were fixed in official patches put out by Bethesda themselves. So today, let's do something fun. And go glitch hunting in Oblivion. We'll start off by taking a look at the glitches present day 1 in the unpatched version of the game. Now, to be fair, the game had its final patch update about a year after release, so I imagine a lot of people wouldn't have even noticed most of these. But some? Well, you'll see. So let's start from the bottom. In the unpatched version of the game, if you own a horse and are a member of any guilds, punching that horse will result in you being kicked out of said guild.
What? I didn't see a thing.
Why? Because punching your own horse counts as stealing for some reason. And because you stole from yourself, you technically stole from a member of the guild you're in. So, you're out. You also receive a bounty of 0.5 gold, but this gets rounded off to 1. Oh wow. That must have been fun if you were in all the guilds at once, eh? I have no idea why this was a thing, but at least it got fixed in the end. Up next we have the Shaden Hall recommendation quest. Now to be fair, you kind of have to go out your way to mess this one up. But never say never I guess, cause someone documented it. This quest is pretty short and straightforward. Falcar wants the Ring of Burden. An incredibly heavy ring that you're probably going to have to strip naked to carry because you picked Wood Elf, you fool! He tells you that it's in the well behind the guild hall and to talk to Dietzen to get the key. Dietzen then wants to talk to you in private, alluding to some shady business. Get the ring, corruption, yada yada. But when you go to get the ring, you make a horrific discovery. Turns out Falcar's last associate was killed by wearing the ring in the well. Well, this shocks you so much you decide to leave the well without getting the ring and come back to it later. But don't wait too long. If you wait more than 3 days, the corpse and the ring will both be gone, and they're not coming back. Without the ring, Dietzen won't advance the quest, and without the Shaden Hall recommendation, the Mages Guild questline is pretty much done. Time to reload an earlier save. Okay, this one coming up again probably wouldn't happen in normal gameplay. But then again, there's always that one guy. The quest Caught in the Hunt sees you being sent to investigate the disappearance of Alaron Locke, who's gone missing after getting into crippling debt with the local loan shark. So you talk to the loan shark and soon find yourself trapped in a fort as a participant of the deadliest game. Toward the end of the quest, Alaron is supposed to get killed by Curden over here. But if for some reason, he ends up on the upper levels of the fort when you arrive outside, you're basically soft-locked. Curden would try his damnedest, but he just can't comprehend how to use stairs. You can wait before heading out, but it won't make a difference. All you can do is watch as Curden gives it his all trying to kill Alaron. Time to reload again. I feel that's going to become a theme. Now this one is a bit random, and I have no idea how someone made the connection. If you happen to travel to the Imperial Bridge Inn out in the country, you'll meet Lifnillen, who will give you the No Stone Unturned quest. You have to go off and get some notes from a cave for him. Okay, straightforward enough, right? Well, if you then decide to travel to Harm's Folly, you'll find a farm with a character called Corrick Northwoad. Corrick is then supposed to be able to give you the quest Revenge Serve Cold, where you have to go and clear out a goblin mine and retrieve an amulet that belonged to his late wife. Again, pretty straightforward. Well, here's the kicker. If you do No Stone Unturned before Revenge Serve Cold, Corrick won't be able to start the quest. He'll act like he's got a job for you, but you'll never have the option to start it.
Please don't go. You may be my only hope.
You can wait all hours of the day, get mad and beat him up a little, but all he'll do is start praying to you and start fighting back on his knees. This doesn't even make any sense. The two quests are miles away from each other and have nothing to do with one another. The only thing you can do is clear the mine anyways and bring the stupid amulet to him. But even then, even when you're naked and wearing his damn late wife's amulet, he won't notice. So what you do is you ram the damn necklace down his throat and start doing unspeakable things to his body while Martin Septon watches in disgust. Oh, and I hope you like that amulet because you can't drop it either. The official patch fixed a lot of bugs in this game, but it also managed to create some. This is Ugal Ballet. He lives in Coral. He also likes to spend a lot of time in his basement. Well, at the top of the stairs in his basement. Now, in the unpatched game, his basement is nothing special. A little creepy, sure, but nothing out of the ordinary. But if you install any of the official patches, but not the Shivering Isles DLC, you'll get this. This is a graphical bug referred to as the broken candle glitch. Due to some update in the game's code, certain candles won't load correctly anymore, resulting in a glowing exclamation mark appearing instead. Thankfully, there's only a few scattered across the game, but man, talk about an immersion breaker. This was later fixed in the Shivering Isles DLC. So we've now had a look at a couple of softlocks, but what about a hard crash? It's not that hard either, and I can actually see this happening to a couple of players in the first days this game came out. In Oblivion you can conjure armor for yourself, which is pretty advantageous for certain character builds. And it looks pretty good to boot, right? No problem. Well, let's say you attract the attention of the local constabulary and conjure up some armor to fight, but then realize it's no good and give up. If you go to jail while wearing conjured armor, or holding a conjured weapon, the game will crash. Ugh, what an image. Apparently this doesn't always happen, and it's pretty easy to get around. Yeah, just update your game, you dingus. We're not there yet. Just keep running until the spell wears off and you'll be fine. The next one takes place at the arena, which is Glitch City as it is, but we'll get to that. All you have to do is sign up to fight in the arena. When Owen asks you what type of armor you want, light or heavy, pick one. Then throw it back in his face and take the other one. Then just go ahead and fight your first match. Congratulations, you've just locked yourself out of your first choice.
Ready? You call
call that ready? You're not even wearing your battle raiment. Don't talk to me again until you're suited up, you disrespectful maggot.
Owen won't recognize you wearing arena armor, even if you are. And if Owen thinks you're not wearing arena armor, you're not fighting in the arena.
Begin! Consistently, the blue team combatant is not wearing an arena battle raiment. The blue team is hereby disqualified. What a disappointing turn of events this is.
So to fix this, you're going to have to wear the other type of armor. Another glitch is to get disqualified in your first fight, probably because you don't like the damn armor. Well, you go back and get shouted at and restart the match. And this time, you actually beat your opponent and win. So you come back down and find out Owen wasn't watching. And he still thinks you gotta start the fight. So you head back up and, no, she's dead. So now, the arena quest line's impossible to complete. Reload! Now this one is just broken. Imagine you got this game release day and have been playing it non-stop. You got to such a high level and started doing the Daedric Shrine quests. Well, I hope you didn't pick Clavicus Vial. Now this quest itself is fine. You make an offering at the shrine and Clavicus tells you to go and get a sword and bring it back to him. Say it with me now.
Sounds straightforward, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But at the beginning of the quest, he gives you a statue of a dog, which allows Barbas, Clavicus's pet dog, to speak to you. The statue's then added to your inventory. There's no problem with it being added, but when you finish the quest and Clavicus takes the statue back...
You dare trifle with me? Take care, mortal. Clavicus Vial watches you now, and waits.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what option you choose. Keep the sword. Give the sword back.
Stay. Go. What do I care?
This quest in the unpatched version of the game is actually unbeatable. The only thing you can do is reload and not start it. Or keep the sword and statue and never return to the shrine. Although it says on the unofficial wiki that through precise timing you can keep fast traveling until the statue leaves your inventory, ending the quest. But constant fast traveling can cause the game to crash anyways. So yeah, get the update. It just astounds me that this game has a quest that will actually crash it at factory settings. Every single time. I mean, I know it's a later game quest and it's one out of thousands, but being a shrine, I bet it got a couple of people. Well, those are just a few standouts that Bethesda actually fixed in their official updates for the game. Meaning this game's much more stable now, right? Not really. From here on out, these glitches can still be recreated in any version of the game today. If you have the PC version of this game, you can get the unofficial patch made by the community. And thankfully, they archived everything they fixed in the game, making my job much easier. It's also pretty funny reading through this list. You'll find things you never even knew was wrong with the game. But once you know, you know. So let's start working our way through a few glitches that were fixed by the unofficial patch, shall we? There's a lot of NPCs in this game that do strange things. This is due to Bethesda's Radiant AI, which is, very radiant. Instead of following a set script, NPCs have a goal and they have to decide how they're going to achieve that goal. For example, a beggar who wants food but doesn't have the money to pay for that food will resort to stealing to get that food. And so on. Pretty cool idea in theory, and it really adds a bit of spontaneity to the world, making it seem more alive. But this doesn't always work, and a few of the NPCs have problems. For example, there's a severe case of mass insomnia in Cyrodiil, as a lot of its characters just don't sleep, such as Dietzen here. She is actually programmed to go to bed, but because she's the last one to do so, all the beds are already taken, so she just wanders around all night. Or Ija, who's supposed to sleep in the same bed as another character, Gunda. But Gunda owns the bed, so Aegea's just left to do nothing. Some people won't sleep because other tasks take priority, like Augusta Calidia, who is meant to sleep from 2 AM to 4 AM. But she's reading when she's meant to be going to bed, and chooses to keep on reading instead of sleeping. That must be one killer book. But I think the one that really takes the cake is Fathis Ools. He's a fence that lives at the Elven Gardens district in the Imperial City. He's even got a nice house there. Not that he would ever know about it, as he never actually stays there. So where does he sleep? Simple, really. His neighbor's house. Dolgro Shug's house. Yeah, this is due to a mistake in the programming. And I love this, it says here on the wiki, this mistake will make life much harder for Fathis, as he doesn't have a key for Dull's house, and will have to wait from 5 AM to 6 AM in front of the door until Dull unlocks it. I mean, this dude is waiting outside the other guy's house so he can come in and sleep in his bed. And when he finally gets in, Fathis will end up waiting outside the locked private quarters instead of sleeping. He can't even get to the bed. Hell, he can even get locked inside. Man, what the hell does Dolgro Shug think about the guy who breaks in to have a nap every day? Next up is the Mystic Emporium, a pretty standard shop in the Market District over in the Imperial City. Nothing unusual, unless you have the Fighter's Stronghold DLC installed. This makes the shop a public area and the items inside public items, meaning you can just go in and help yourself to anything on display. The shop doesn't even really close. Calendil will ask you to leave so he can lock up, but he won't actually call the guard, and he still sells you stuff no matter if it's midday or midnight. But this also comes with a drawback. The shop is locked pretty much all of the time now, so you have to picklock your way inside as Calendil just never opens it. According to the wiki, this can also happen with the Wizard's Tower DLC. But I don't have it, so I can't test it out, and apparently there's a few more combinations of DLC that can mess with this shop. It's strange that this is the only shop affected by DLCs. So okay, let's look at the glitches that can be done in the arena after the patches are installed. First off, and probably the most known, is escaping the arena. Once you exit the tunnel leading to the arena itself, move to the right, jump backwards onto the wall. You may need some levels in your acrobatics to reach high enough. Keep running backwards into the wall, then turn. Ta-da! You're now out the arena. Try to land on this little platform outside the tunnel to avoid falling. But don't worry if you do, because you'll just respawn in the tunnel. If you successfully land on this platform, the yellow team won't be able to hit you, but you can hit them all you want. Now, this won't work if you're against archers, and sometimes the yellow team will even follow you out, but other than that, you can just cheese the entire arena questline. There's also another spot in the pit itself that can be used to get right up near the spectator stands. Just jump onto this pillar here, and keep jumping backwards. Now you're too high for anyone to hit. And if you use both these tricks combined, you can reach your opponent before the match has even started. Great Prince ain't got nothing on me. Next up are some glitches that, honestly, have become essential to many playthroughs of this game. That being the money glitch, the duplication glitch, and paintbrushes in general. Now I know that you probably know what all these are already. But come on, they're the big three. First up is the money glitch. In the Imperial City's Telos Plaza district lives a man called Dorian, who to be honest is pretty ordinary. He never leaves his house and doesn't really like any visitors. Well, if you know any paralyze spells, you can just pat him on the back and he never runs out of money. Apparently this is due to his coin count actually being -10. Which for some reason means it freezes. Second is the duplication glitch. Well, one of them. But this is definitely the most easy. Acquire 2 or more scrolls. Double click them in your inventory. Select the item you want to duplicate and bam! You now have as many of the item as you do of the scrolls. You can do this back and forth with 2 sets of scrolls to get even bigger numbers. And so on. And for if you want to ever build a stairway to heaven, or just out of the cities. Third, we have paintbrushes. No trick here, they just have no physics whatsoever. Don't know why, you can just place them mid-air and stand on them, making it way too easy to get to places you really shouldn't be. Which brings us to our next entry. This is really more of a secret than it is a glitch. But in the Mages Guild quest, a Mage's Staff, you're meant to head over to Wellspring Cave to meet up with some of your colleagues and talk about making yourself a staff. But when you arrive, you find they've both been killed by necromancers. So you're meant to travel through the cave and get to an island that was previously inaccessible and finish the quest. If you try to get to this location before the quest, the door in the cave will be locked and there will be an invisible wall surrounding the island. Well, that's where the paintbrushes come in. If you build a staircase alongside the invisible wall, you can actually make it over the top and drop down. Now it's pretty high up, so you're probably going to want to have a high acrobatics skill before you do this. Unlike me. But if you do make it onto the island, you will actually find the characters Aletta and Zarasha. Now you never actually meet these characters in normal play, because they're both dead when you find them. There's no reason for them to even have living counterparts on this island. Aletta will walk around, but you can't actually talk to her. Zarasha will just stand in place, but will actually have a unique greeting if you're not in the Mages Guild.
Wellspring Grove is owned by the Mages Guild. You're not a member, so I'm afraid you're not supposed to be here.
If you are though, she just greets you normally. I don't think she even has AI programmed, because she never moves from that spot, and will only react if Aletta or you talk to her. But yeah, it's just another one of those things in this game that makes you wonder. Over in Breville Castle there lives an NPC called Dranara, and she's steward to Count Regulus Terentius. Every day she wakes up at 6 AM, chills out for a bit by her room. Then, at 8 AM she thinks, well, off to Bruma. And so begins the long trek to Bruma. Why does she do this? Well, apparently she's meant to be heading to Breville Castle's private quarters. But somebody got their B's mixed up and instead she's heading to Bruma Castle. So at 8 AM every day she suddenly sets off for Bruma. In fact, I never even saw this character in Breville before making this. I saw her on the Gold Road north of the Imperial City, and odds are you probably haven't met her either, as she usually gets killed on her trips by bandit and creature attacks. That being said though, I followed her travelling back to Breville and she packs one hell of a punch, let me tell you. What's even funnier is if she doesn't get back to Breville by the time 8 AM rolls around again, she'll turn around and head straight back to Bruma, putting her in an endless cycle walking back and forth between the two cities. Oh, and her name's spelt wrong as well, apparently. We've seen how you can break the arena quest line, but what about the Thieves Guild? If you head over to the waterfront, you'll run into an Argonian called Amusi. He's a not so bright wannabe thief. Well, he's needed to start the Thieves Guild quest line. But if you, say, been to Leowin, specifically the castle's prison, and you decide to unlock all the doors, mainly the one at the back, well, you can't start the quest line. If the cell at the back has been lockpicked, then Amusi will decide to move there, meaning he won't show up to the meeting to start the Thieves Guild quest line. Nah, he's too busy screwing around in jail. He just hangs out behind the door, getting pissed off with you. Now, the cell you have to open doesn't get used for anything other than the Thieves Guild. So unless you really want to break your game, this won't happen. Just another strange anomaly within Oblivion. Now, the official patches got most of the game-breaking bugs out of this game, but you can still break it if you try. Well, here's one where you don't have to try. Over at the Breville Mages Guild, there's a character called Delphine Gend, who's just another NPC. But unlike others, she has a strange item within her inventory, called Missing Name. Well, that's a little weird. If you acquire this item and then drop it... Jesus! Yeah, that's a hard crash. Even worse than Clavicus's. This only crashes the 360 version of the game. But again, why Bethesda? Why is this here? Well, you'd only do it once, I guess. And with that, we've taken a look at some of the many glitches within Oblivion. This game has hundreds more. It's quite fun to hunt these glitches, because you never really know what you're going to come across. I would definitely recommend going over to the unofficial wiki and having a look for yourself. This doesn't even scratch the surface of some of the glitches in this game. But it's all I have time for today, so I guess we'll leave it there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm KrankMambo. Thanks for watching.
I love dogs. Doesn't everyone?